Hello guys, welcome back to the Nandes channel. Today we are back again with some more of this LCFC content. If you guys haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But today we're going to be doing a little bit more of some of these streams. I know I'm doing quite a few, but we're going to go straight into this one. This one's going to be an interesting one to do. Firstly, we'll go through the Leicester versus West Ham news, any news that I didn't really touch on in the past preview. And then we will move on to, of course, a little bit more transfer talk, the ones that you guys really do prefer. But going into this game, it's going to be even more of a challenging one. There doesn't look like there will be any considerable injuries for West Ham United. We might be able to see Castagna come back, and I will be changing my predicted lineups because of that. But I think, yeah, West Ham, they're looking good. They're on good form. They had a great win against Newcastle, I think it was. They're a team to watch out for. It's going to be a high-scoring kind of game. I know Leicester City got very close to getting a draw at least against them, but we did end both our games against them with 2 losses, which isn't great to see at all. But I think Leicester do have something about this one, where I think there might be a small little spark. I know a lot of people are saying that Leicester could win in this one, which is a fair kind of point. I think Leicester could have a good effect in this one. It's going to be even more challenging than we think it is going to be. I know if Leicester do decide to win this one, we're going to have to really push on with some good players, with some strong players as well. I think it's really important for that. But of course, guys, we will go to my predicted lineup for this one. My predicted lineup is the following, and it isn't a bad lineup at all. I think in goal it's going to be Kasper Schmeichel as well. Kasper Schmeichel is a really good player. He's smart on the ball. He's strong on the ball, as you guys do know. I really do think Kasper should be able to really dominate this one as well. He's been smart on the ball for whatever time he's been on there for. I think it's been about 10 years now. He's been our first choice goalkeeper. But he's one player that I really do think will perform well here. He's the second oldest goalkeeper in the Premier League against the oldest goalkeeper in the Premier League. 2 very good goalkeepers in Fabianski and Kasper Schmeichel with countless of experience. But I think it's going to be a really good one to watch in that sense. I think Leicester, they're going to be coming into this one with the positivity of obviously the Community Shield. And then that big win against Wolverhampton Wanderers, again, it wasn't the best win in the world. It was a very good goal, very good link up from Ricardo Pereira. But I think it's going to even be more challenging. The kind of gaps that we allow to occur are going to really infiltrate Leicester's kind of defensive line. If we keep those gaps, if we allow them to get these counterattacks, where West Ham are one of the best, I think they really are the best team with the counterattacks in the whole of the Premier League. So I think they're so smart with it, well, especially against us. Is if we allow those gaps to form, then we're going to have some problems. We're going to have some major problems. I'm not going to be lying about that. I'll be scared, and we'll be able to tell in the tempo of the game. Possessively, we don't fully really need it to occur. We don't really want it either, but we kind of want a game where we're not necessarily holding on to the ball too much. We don't want that at all, but we want one of those games where we're a little bit more fluid. We don't want the passing to be trash on the final kind of third. I know shooting wise, we have run into some problems in the final third, and if we don't kind of accomplish and kind of score those goals, the chances we get, it is going to haunt us. As I said, we got very lucky against a Wolves side who at times should have scored, especially with that Adama Traore shot. And if we're going to be going against a team like West Ham United, like Man City next, sorry, Norwich, not Norwich, actually Norwich won't score, but they probably will now because I jinxed it. But Man City, teams like Man City, Liverpool, etc. If we decide to do that, then we're really gonna kind of mess up here. I think Leicester are a kind of team where we will be able to dominate it. We could win it, but Brendan Rodgers needs to bring out a good team. My predicted lineup now has changed slightly for you guys, as you guys should know. I think originally I had it as in goal Kasper, 2 centre backs of Vestergaard and Siyuncu, left back of Luke Thomas, right back of Ricardo Pereira, a CDM of Wilf, 2 centre mids of Yuri Tillemans, and I think it was Oh yeah, and then Maddison, of course, in that cam role. Left wing Barnes, right wing Perez, striker Vardy. A little bit more similar, but with the news of Castagna being back, I think it'll be a little bit more different in goal. I'm going to say Kasper Schmeichel without a doubt. It's always going to be there. Danny Wardy's a great option if obviously Kasper gets injured. We don't want that to happen at all. Centre back wise, I think it is going to be Vestergaard and the likes of Siunchi starting. 100% always Siunchi will start in this one. It's going to be a confusing one if he is going to decide to play Marty and Vestergaard. And Marty is a player that I didn't think had a bad game at all against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Loads of people are going to disagree with me there. But the performance I saw him had was he took some shit passes. He passed very, very badly. But he's one of those players, I think he does have a chance. Are you sure that Vestergaard will start? Roger said he's not up to speed. That's a chance. I mean, personally, I see Roger starting him. I don't see a reason why Rogers wouldn't start him as his debut. His full kind of starting debut. Yeah, obviously had his debut against Wolves a bit before that. What's good, man? Do you think you could? The thing about that is the thing about Ricardo Pereira, and I've always disagreed with people saying they should go in right wing. I think the problem that we could have, and beyond the 90, you guys can comment if you want. We're in StreamYard, so it's not really a problem inviting people. But right wing wise, I just think the problem that we have, the problem that Leicester have is Ricardo Pereira. He's such a good right back on his own. He's got that defensive structure. He's smart on the ball. He's strong on the ball. He's that type of figure to do so well in that right back role. But I've just never seen him really do well in that right wing role. You could say that, oh yeah, he hasn't really adjusted. And Brendan Rodgers is going to want to put kind of Justin in right back and Castagna in left back when Justin is back. But I just think Ricardo Pereira, he's never really worked well as a right wing. He's obviously got the attributes of one, but I think defensively we really do need him in that right back role with the likes of James Justin that we can slot in left back or Ryan Bertrand. I think we've got a lot of kind of gaps in it. And I think that's always good to see. Not necessarily, I don't know why I'm saying gaps, but more, yeah. West Ham are going to be a physical presence. How do you think we'll cope with it? Also, if you want to join me, yeah, bro. I'll just put the invite in the chat. Hold on. It's up to you. Then I'll change the title name. Settings. How do I invite people? Guests. Oh, there it is. Sorry, man. Yeah, I think physicality wise, physicality might be a problem. We got what's his name, Vestergaard, but Vestergaard's not the quickest player. I think that's the problem. That's the only thing that we really do have. Vestergaard could. I'll post the chat inside. Yeah, that's the problem with Vestergaard. I think he just might be a tiny bit slow. That's my only thing about Yannick Vestergaard coming into this game. He's one of those players. I think with Siunchi we have something, but Siunchi sometimes does have this thing where he does open a few. He kind of creates gaps in a way, and he doesn't always kind of attack it. Do you think we'll concede from a set piece? I mean, looking at West Ham's team, like aside Benrahma, he's not bad. I think he's one who takes kicks sometimes, but not necessarily. I don't think Leicester City are as bad as we were the kind of last season. Let's not forget that there probably will be gaps in set pieces. I think we've never been that bad, really in that sense. I'm gonna quickly just change the title, guys, to with Beyond the 90 then, just because of it. But yeah, I think for me, clear kind of set pieces we're starting, and I think against Wolves we didn't really have too many problems. You could say that we didn't really get challenged. They did have some very good defenders in the box, not exactly the bigger ones. We didn't really see Willy Bolly playing, I guess, but with Beyond the 90, let's at them at the. Can I just say Beyond the 90 is turning into a mad channel, honestly, mad channel. But yeah. I mean, going into this one, if we do concede from a set piece, well, you've already called it. I mean, do you think Spurs will sign Madueke? Now, the current news I'm learning about Noni Madueke is Spurs, he would prefer Spurs over Leicester. I mean, he used to play for Spurs as well. It doesn't look like he had a bad time there. And Spurs are kind of. I can't lie. Spurs, they're a team that I think more players would prefer as of yet, because Leicester, we're kind of into a new kind of side. I would take Madueke 100%. I think any right winger would do well. I think right wing wise, we do need a right wing. But big shout out to Chester Leicester. I really do like that name. But yeah, I mean, West Ham versus Leicester has always been a good one. We didn't beat them once though last season, which is a little bit scary. I think that's my only problem with it. My seat is so rocky, guys. But I think West Ham wise, they don't have Jesse Lingard anymore, and I think that's the only thing that they have. They're really missing that kind of glue in Jesse Lingard. They didn't have a bad game at all, and I'm not going to lie about that. They didn't have a bad game against Newcastle, but they do concede, and that's something to note. Some of the things that they conceded was horrific, and we should be able to attack those positions. 2 goals David Moyes' side kind of conceded, which is crazy. I just think, I don't know how. It was worrying how we went from 5-2 Man City to win to 3-0 loss to West Ham next week. I think my thing about West Ham, I think they're a team that a lot of people have underrated a lot, and I think they're a team that I don't know if people have noticed this, but we tend to kind of do well against the biggest 6 teams than the teams that aren't really seen as the biggest. But those teams like West Ham, obviously Wolves we beat. It was a tough game. Who else is very similar to that? You saw it with who are those teams? I mean, Crystal Palace. They didn't have bad games against us at all, I didn't think. But we kind of normally do perform very, very kind of badly against some of those lower down teams. I'm not saying West Ham, of course. West Ham are a very, very good team, but I think top 6 wise, we're a team that should be able to beat all of them. Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, of course, is the teams that might be harder. Chelsea, I think, will win the Premier League, but we will move on to Brentford, the new Fulham, to beat us at the King Power Stadium. The thing about Brentford is Leicester and Brentford are the most liked sides now, I think, in Premier League. If you're not obviously club, if you're not supporting a specific club, but there's something about Brentford. I think they'll do well. I think they'll stay up. They're a team that deserve to stay up. I've always respected Brentford as a team. I think FA Cup wise, we had a very good win against them, but we got lucky. I think that first half they were dominating like crazy. I think because of Brendan Rodgers' changes and what he said, we obviously attacked them very, very well. I think Cengiz Ünder had a good game. I think it was Cengiz Ünder. I can't remember too far. But I do stand by that. I think Brentford, they've got a great team. Obviously, Christoph Ayer is one big player to note. I think Ayer is a little bit more of a new kind of player onto the pitch of the Premier League. He's one player that did do very, very well, and I think he's one player that Leicester were very close on signing as the defensive option. But he would get more first-team football there, which is a fair choice. Of course, you saw players coming up from Brentford, some very, very good ones as well, which is something to note at least. I think who's that player that used to play for Brentford? James Tarkowski. He could be the new James Tarkowski. Who do you think is going to sign Madueke now? Now, that's an interesting question now. For me, of course, I still think Leicester have a chance, but I think that I think now, I know I said it's more likely than unlikely. I'm saying it's more unlikely than likely. I think the changes that has been created and the current way we're going with how it is going, the funds just might be too much for us to handle right now. We're a very rich team, but I think we're the only real team I think we're one of the only sides that haven't really sold anyone, and we're not a selling club anymore. Of course, I hate using that. I hated using that last year. I hated when the Arsenal fans and stuff used to call us selling clubs, which they still do. But I think funds wise, it's going to be even more challenging. Funds wise, we're gonna have to be splashing out 35-40 million, which I just don't see Leicester doing. Of course, if it was a player, if it was one of these players that are kind of more proven in the Premier League a little bit more, who let's say Noni Madueke, wasn't at a team like PSV who just sold two of their key players. Because nobody, I think a lot of people are forgetting about that as well. It's not just about Champions League. It's not like the likes of PSV really need to sell him. I think Madueke, he's a top guy. He's a top player. He's smart on the ball. I think that is something really to know about him. But he's a player that his teammates Daniel Marlin and Denzel Dumfries, two very good players, two prolific players in that kind of PSV team, just went to other clubs, and I think the likes of PSV won't like to sell him. Of course, as I said before, I will get a PSV fan on if this Madueke news does start to materialize. I think, yeah, we got. I'm so funny.
Oh, sorry, man.
I'll take him off real quick. I just saw his green screen coming down. Should I keep him on? Is that all right?
Give me 2 seconds, mate. I'll join you in a second.
1 minute. I don't know if his mic is working then. Oh, sorry. I just noticed my volume's on. Okay, sorry. Yeah, that's quite funny. But his green screen, it's literally as I saw that his green screen started to come down. It's quite funny. I think we should go for Mbappe. My personal opinion on Mbappe is he's just a tad bit overpriced for us. I just think give it a little bit more, a few millions that we're going, and then obviously we'll be all right. Do you think we'll get a top four? Top four if you get a winger. It needs to be a quality right winger. Like I don't think we'll do it if we get Daniel James, which looks even more likely right wing wise. I just think it is looking even more likely that we will get a player like Dan James even more. I think Neil's ready. If you can give me some kind of hand sign, yeah. Okay, good.
What's good, man? How you doing? Good to finally meet you as well.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I don't know. It's because school having another Indian brother on. Of course,
that's what I mean. You know, there's not too many of us on YouTube, but no, it's good to finally meet you as well.
Yeah, man. But obviously, what's your thoughts going into this game? I'll quickly answer Rene B's question. This is actually my cousin, which is crazy.
Is it?
Yeah,
I appreciate you, man.
Which formation are we? 4-3-2-1-4. I'm saying 4-1-4-1. I'm not sure what Neil thinks, but yeah.
I mean, the problem is with that one, so we can say that on that side, I don't know why my green screen's not working, but on that left-hand side is going to be Barnes, right? But the problem is, who do you slot in on that left? And especially if you're playing a 4-1-4-1, you got to go wide. And if you're going wide, you're going to have to play Perez, and Perez don't work like wide. That's my thing.
Would you not prefer, like, I mean, I didn't understand why Brendan doesn't try Daka on the right wing.
You see,
yeah.
It could work. It's just unknown, but because we played Jamie Vardy, similar to Jamie Vardy. I know it's this thing that's been said all the time. Yeah. However, like with Jamie Vardy on that right, it did work, but it worked with. Remember we played against Man United when we won 5-3, right? 5-2, and we played Jamie Vardy on that right, but it was pace to get the ball in. I don't know if Daka's good at crossing the ball.
I think Daka's one of these players. I think you probably agree with me that we're not necessarily gonna see Daka that much this whole season. Maybe Europa League wise, but I just don't see Brendan Rodgers starting him that much. He obviously prefers Nacho. What would you say about
that? I think overall, I think Nacho will be a good Nacho's liked by the fans, by the club, and I think he knows what he's doing in the Premier League. Daka I think it's another Fofana situation. If there's injuries, we know he's got our back and he's gonna step in big time. However, all things considered, I can say that Daka could play, but I see him more as a second striker, to be honest. But it's just that right wing position. It's just such a strange one at the moment. That's the issue.
I just think
I don't see us getting Dan James because he's playing for them. I know he was at the beginning of the season, but another point in Jadon Sancho. But they've got anybody else that can play right wing apart from that?
No, that's true. I mean, just right wing wise, I don't know. My problem with Mark Albrighton is he's an excellent player. Don't get me wrong, but he's one of those players that can't last for that long. He plays too hard, and I think the quality of him goes a little bit, and we can't continuously just change them, which is a bit of a problem. We've got a question for you, Neil. Neil, do you think we'll sign Madueke?
I don't think so. But small answer, no. I think he's, as you were saying just off camera, I think he wants to go to Tottenham. I think he's about 30, 35 mil, and we only do that for play. The only time we've done that Like we've got is Tillemans, and I think we've done it for obviously Fofana as well. Fofana's just a mad signing in itself, but he
Yeah.
was going to be, if we're going to coming back to like the Daka situation, he was supposed to be there to just kind of give him a season, ease him in, and then eventually we'll bring him in for cup competitions. We'll bring him in because he's still a young talent. Obviously, Daka's slightly different to that, but I can see that's how we're going to play him this season. Obviously, with I think Soyuncu getting injured, we had to just throw Fofana straight in there again. But it's good to have that backup option. I think he'll come good, but like the end of Jamie Vardy when about 80 minutes you were at the game. I saw your vlog as well. You were at the game, and after 80 minutes, I don't know what it was like in person, but you say, "Oh, Vardy's tiring," and we've got no more subs left, so we have to go. We have to just have.
I mean, my problem. The only thing about Vardy is the problem that we're starting to form is. I understand he scored a goal. We can't forget that. We can't forget the drought that he had, and I get he made some assists, but I was talking to a lot of people next to me, and they agree with me. I think he is the weakest link there now.
Really?
Yeah, loads of people are saying he is the weakest link. It is sad to see because obviously there's something about Jamie Vardy that I feel like if you bring him on in the last 10, 20 minutes, everyone's going to go crazy. He's going to get the momentum he needs, and maybe he'll score more if he does that. I don't know about you, but big shout out to HA90. I think Dan James has been told. Yeah, I heard that as well. Arsenal lost against Chelsea. I know HA was at that game as well. His first time. It's quite funny, but I don't know what formation would you go for this West Ham game?
I don't know, man. I was trying to think about covering this on my channel, but I wasn't sure. Because there's the problem is could you go for a 3-4-3? But then the problem is I don't want to play 3 at the back because if you've got I think Ryan Bertrand in there, or I don't really not trust Castagna. Castagna's a backup option for we won't start him playing unless everybody else is injured. But playing wing backs makes sense. And then playing Barnes on the left, Daka on the right, or Vardy on the right, or Nacho on the right, and then Vardy through the centre. I think that's a formation that could work. But the problem with 3 at the back, I mean, we covered this on our channel. Looking at you've got Fornals, Ben Rama, and then you've got Bowen, who obviously them 2 previous were linked to us as well, and then Antonio up front. That's scary. That is actually like legit 4 on them 4 are going to be going mental, and they did. Bear in mind, half of them didn't play, and we still lost 3-2 to them. I know there was all the COVID stuff happening afterwards, but it's going to be scary. But having 3 centre backs may be an option. However, the problem is we don't have any more centre backs in the squad as that are fit.
I know it's a worrying one. I mean, I personally hate when we play 3 at the back. I don't know about you. We played well against. I think it was Man City. We played 3 at the back.
We won the FA Cup with it.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the only problem we have with the 3 at the back is there's so many gaps that are created and just a lack of pace in it going on the attack, and I think it just kind of ruins the Leicester spirit. But my only problem about this West Ham game, and I you probably agree with me here, but I just think the amount of times that if you watch the Wolves game, I know you did, but the amount of gaps that we created that were like kind of formed. Sort of Dharma Traore. If Mikel Antonio gets that ball, if you get another player like what is it? He's Lukaku. If he had that ball, he's always going to score.
Yeah,
it's not. We're playing against a West Ham team that kind of feed off the counter attacks that we did last season. Because what was it? They scored like 1 or 2 goals from the counter attack. Pablo Fornals, all of them linking up. Jared Bowen. I think that's the only problem that we have really. Physicality wise is another big one.
Yeah, I think, and that's an issue, but we've kind of not addressed that. But I don't know if you probably saw being at the game, you saw Thingy come on. What's his face? Vestergaard. He kind of addresses that because the main problem with physicality, we can kind of get away with it in midfield. It's defense, and we've seen with last year we had a good season. However, defensively from scoring set pieces and attacking set pieces, we weren't good enough. And part of that, let's be real, was the crosses. The crosses weren't good enough as well. So if you get somebody from that right hand side, if you get somebody from that side, like if Bertrand's fit, putting them balls in, I think he will do bits. And also he knows Vestergaard. So I think from set pieces we can improve. But the physicality in terms of going back, I think one thing that's gone under the radar, I think I've realised, and I think it's mentioned on BBC Radio Leicester, is how much Ndidi has bulked up. Indeed, he's actually got a bit bigger and stronger. And if you watch him pre-season, he was pushing people off the ball. He's never done that before. He's always like kind of legs, if you know what I mean. So little things like that, I think he's changing his game. And hopefully against like Souček and Rice, I think hopefully he's going to be one to look out for, because he's going to have such a vital role in just clearing and firefighting that back line for us.
The only problem that I have with West Ham's midfield is obviously they're the type of midfield that defensively they're strong, attackingly they have, of course, Ben Rama to go in, and then obviously those wingers are really compact together. I think they're going to dictate the play against us, and if that happens, then there's going to be goals with them. 100%. They've done it before. They did it against us. What was it? They got both wins, which is crazy. But I think West Ham wise, I think they're very similar to our team. I think European wise, do you think they're going to kind of go down the hill? Because there's been a lot of talk. I know HA90 told me he thinks that West Ham are going to go a little bit down. But Leicester, a lot of people had that same opinion on Leicester doing it. We didn't necessarily go down. I know we didn't do very well in the Europa League, all losing to Slavia Praha, which is a bit of a... I don't even know. Well, as well as Zoria.
We couldn't compete on two fronts. We genuinely couldn't, could we, though? I mean, we tried. That's the thing. West Ham are going to try it at the moment. And literally, we had players pinging off with injuries. Justin being like, do you know what I mean? Just slowly, another player injured, another player's got injured, another player's got injured. And that just took a massive toll. And we couldn't compete on two fronts. And then it comes to the Arsenal game where Harvey Barnes got injured. And that was a massive step down. And you're right. I mean, that starting 11 that West Ham have got is quite lethal. And it's really annoying we're playing them now and not later on. Because if we're playing them later on in the window when we've both got European football, then we've got the disadvantage. Then we've got the advantage, because I mean the game we were saying the first game we're bringing on Vestergaard, we're bringing in. I know there was a bit of drop in quality, but the players, once they're fully fit, won't have that much drop in quality. So West Ham, I think, is going to be a really tough game, as you were saying. I mean, there's not been a team that put 3 past us twice last season. No team put 3 past us twice. Only West Ham.
I honestly think that and I know a lot of people can disagree with me here, but I've said it before to a lot of the people on my views. I'd rather play Liverpool than West Ham. I think West Ham always play better than us. There's never been a time. I know that's a very controversial thing to say, and I'm going to back it here. Yeah. I just think West Ham, they're just a team that just... I know you talk to a few West Ham fans. I just think I'm not organised enough with that. But
it's okay.
I just think with I don't know, West Ham fans and West Ham overall, they're just such a good team. And if we don't get Champions League football, our team is literally going to be gone. Honestly, we've got... I think you wanted to add this here.
Sorry. I was gonna bring it back. I'm gonna try and get the bench. I was gonna try and get the stuff up. Oh, damn it. Again, I've just set up last minute. For some reason, my green screen's not working, but I'm like, look, it's been late enough. Let me try and join in. I'll try and find the West Ham result. But the bench, again, they've got no bench. They've got literally no bench. So I don't know how they're going to cope on both halves, because it's going to be tough. But I think that overall, it's going to be... You're right. In terms of playing... Yeah, it's going to be... But I think this season might be the season. I think with what's happening as well with the way that we're playing and the way that we're developing is a really good sign. We've had such a good window. We just need, I think, a backup centre back and a right winger that we're like, okay, cool, this guy can hold it down. Mark Albrighton can hold it down, but he can't hold it down in Europa League and Premier League and Champions League and all the cups as well. He can't do it. He's a great player, but I think he's one of the players at the ground that's really rated as well. So I don't know. I think we could definitely do stuff. But it's one of them weird ones, I think, where it will just take time. Yeah. It will just take time for them to get there. And people forget with the young squad. And West Ham, I agree with you. The thing is, West Ham don't have the ego of a Liverpool. They're not going to come to us and go, oh yeah, we're going to just chill out now. We're just going to chill. No, they're going to go, no, we're going to give you the ball and we're going to hit you on the counter. What are you going to do? And that's where Brendan Rodgers has to have a couple of plans. Go, okay, we're going to mark this person out of the game, mark this person out of the game, and hit them on the counter. I think that would be quite cool. But yeah, you're right. I think it is a harder game than Liverpool. Not because Liverpool, player for player, have better players, but they go, we're Liverpool. We ain't going to come to your ground and sit off you. And we go, cool, that plays into our hands. We'll win 3-1.
The thing is that with teams like Liverpool, you see teams like Man City, Arsenal, they bring in so many players. If you look at Arsenal, for example, they bring in so many players. The thing about Leicester is they necessarily always change. Like we don't get free players, we transfer free. If you get what I mean, there's always that kind of play. They played together for a long time. You see it with West Ham as well. I think the problem that West Ham and both of us have is we're still not a bigger team. Like we're still not one of those teams like Real Madrid or Barcelona. It's going to take ages for that. It'll take 20 years at least. But I think if we don't get Champions League football here, we won't have another one of these seasons where we didn't sell anyone.
Yeah,
because we got lucky with Tielemans. We got really lucky with Tielemans. We got lucky with Ndidi. I think Madison-wise, that was never going to happen.
What do you mean?
No, transfers. Honestly.
Why do you think we got lucky?
So, like, I think because there's like so many other like bigger teams. I hate to say it, and I hate always using it, but there's bigger teams like Man United that kind of always have that history, as well as Liverpool, as well as obviously Real Madrid, Barcelona, teams like that. These bigger teams that kind of already got Champions League football, and I just feel that if we don't get another season, if we have another season without Champions League football, let's say we get Europa League, we don't want to turn into those teams that for the players' mindset, we're always getting Europa League. They're going to want to move away because they're going to get more of these chances. But yeah, I don't know what you think about that. I know that's been quite a controversial opinion. I've got a lot of people disagreeing.
Well, if that's the case, then why would we get one of the best talents in Europe in Daka? Why would Samori want to come to us? Why would Brian Bertrand? I mean, he had the option. I think he turned down Arsenal to come to us, not to come to us, but one of the options was Arsenal. He turned it down. You could say they've got pedigree, but the thing is, there's something special about Leicester at the moment. The way that we're playing football, the way that we're developing players, people, Samori and Daka, I think, trust go. That's a long-term solution, not just in terms of, oh yeah, I'll get this kind of Riyad Mahrez, I'll get this and then move on to the next level. They could do that, but there's a reason why. For example, look at Tielemans. He wanted to come. His agent did, I think, before he signed, tried to offer him to Man United, offer him to Tottenham.
Yeah.
And bearing in mind, we had a cracking season when he joined us, but he decided he wanted to come to us. He still wants to stay with us, from what we're hearing as well. So it shows you it's not just about, oh yeah, they've got the pedigree, sure, cool, but players have to think of the longevity of their career. Look at someone like Dan James. He went from Swansea all the way up to Man United, and that leap was too big for him. Way too big. He's a talented player, but now they can't get rid of him. Can't get rid of him. He can't perform at that level that Man United have set. And it's just one of them things where if you'd have a bad game or something, you get dropped straight away. And players know this kind of stuff, and they see Leicester as a real potential option to try and compete with the top four and to get first team football, but also to develop under a good manager with a good training ground, one of the best training grounds in the world. So that's my point to you, where if that was the case, we wouldn't have got Daka. We wouldn't have got Samori for sure.
Well, I think my only thing about that is I'm not really opinionating on them. I'm more on these kind of players that kind of been with us for a long time. Let's say Wilfred Ndidi for once. Yeah, I think we've got very lucky with Champions League wise to not have any link. Well, there has been a few links, but we've been very, very lucky with these kind of teams, because to these kind of players, they've always dreamed of playing. Like you're never going to find a player now. Maybe in 10 years, you're going to have players, kind of kids dreaming of playing for Leicester. We've never had these kind of dreams where they're playing for Leicester, really. Yeah, maybe if you're a Leicester fan, but let's look at
Arsenal. Arsenal's a good example. People have especially people like Samori and Fofana have dreamed of playing for Arsenal with the French link and Vieira and all this, and watching their French team, and where have they been successful in Arsenal? But they're a dive, man. At the moment, why would you want to go there? So it changes with time, and Leicester have come with this story and something special. So I think anything could happen, and that's the reason why we've got some of the and that's the reason why they've stayed around as well at the same time.
I'll just quickly read out what these ones say. Jesus Christ, Jamie Vardy's. Oh my!
Take your time, man.
Jamie Vardy's one of the most intelligent in the squad. I think he's important for another striker up, like Daka and Nacho. That's true. He obviously adds a lot of kind of degree. I know Chilwell did that very well with Luke Thomas. Bowen is such a threat. Feel like he's so underrated. I'd happily have him at Leicester, but there's obviously better options. Bowen's been linked to Liverpool, actually. I know Liverpool actually want to kind of look at him a little bit more, big admirers. I'm happy about Harvey Barnes. I think a lot of people are underrating.
I think the levels that Harvey, but the thing is to go from where if we were still, this is the thing that I love Hamza Chowdhury, but I don't think there's to go from the level that we were to the level we're at now. His rise has been like this, and only a few players are really going to do that to come into that first team, So I think overall, Harvey Barnes is a great talent, and I think he'll push on this year. He might. It's a controversial take. I think he might be the highest goal scorer at the club because I can see him scoring game in, game out if he keeps the run up and if he keeps his fitness there. And he's got leaner, he's got better. And the thing is, I love about him, he's not afraid of anyone. He's genuinely not afraid of anybody. He's had Alexander Arnold on toast at 3-1. That's something that's not mentioned at all. But Alexander Arnold was dropping off him massively.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, man. I think my Wi-Fi is cutting out a bit. But just on your point about Hamza Chowdhury, my dad's always been like the fan of Hamza Chowdhury because obviously I know I don't like bringing ethnicity here, but obviously Hamza Chowdhury's always been that Asian player that everyone looks up to.
100%.
Bengali. I know I've always looked up to him like that. I know my dad's just a big fan of him because of that Asian guy. But do you think Brendan will play
That's one of the reasons. And also, he's got talent. Sorry to interrupt. I don't know if it's the Wi-Fi, but yeah. I think Hamza Chowdhury is going to be.
Wi-Fi.
His talent was there, and people forget how good he was when he came into the side under Puel. He was keeping clean sheets against Chelsea. He was playing massive part. I know he lost the game 2-1 to Man City in one of the cup, I think quarterfinals of the cup of the EFL Cup, and then we won against Man City. He was a massive part of that. But the problem is he had to keep them levels and develop. And I don't think he's quite at that level. And also we're bringing in players in his position. But I'm like you, man. I'm like your dad. I'm a massive fan. And also growing up in this city, I mean, I've always wanted to support an Indian or like Asian player, like our skin color from our country. Because I never thought it happened. You growing up in Leicester, you knew there's so many talented like Indian, Bengali, Pakistani people. But I think part of it is, I'm be honest, but a lot of our families just like, look, don't take that risk, go become an engineer. Don't take the risk, go become that. And it's just gonna. I've said this on other channels before. It's gonna take another generation of when we raise kids or that kind of stuff. We get a little bit off topic, but still, where we can go take the risk, and try and become a footballer. If it don't work, cool. Then we'll try and sort something out, like other communities have done. And I think in general, our community is risk averse because there's so many Asians, man, especially in Leicester, firsthand. So many talented people that it's like, it's family influence. We'll just push you into this, and they don't see how taking that risk and it paying off can lead to massive things for our community.
I think the only thing with me with Hamza Chowdhury is I think he's really, really going to waste his career at Leicester. Because the problem that we have is we bring in so many good midfielders. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, got Callum Wright coming in, Hamza Chowdhury, just keeps on going. And we always get midfielders. You've got Soumaré now. Just endless midfielders. I just think Hamza Chowdhury, the current situation that we have in midfield, I wish we just offloaded some midfielders. Like I think Dennis Pratt, he's wasting his career at Leicester. I think he's a quality player, but I think we're never going to play him, really, if we look into it. I think Hamza Chowdhury, take that move to Newcastle if you can. If you prove a point or something. But I think having players like Yuri Tillemans in your team, Wilfred Ndidi, James Maddison, it's going to get hard even that to get into that team. But then you got Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, Papi Mendy, Soumaré, all above you. It's just, I don't know. I just think it's a smart decision to just move out of Leicester, try to do well with Newcastle or something. If need to boost wingers, who are we going to get? I don't see us getting an expensive winger. I think we really, really missed out on Leon Bailey. I think Leon Bailey was a massive miss. How did we just the fact that we lost them to Villa? Honestly,
I think it was just money. I think if we knew the kind of player we're going for, we will spend. Look at the whole before this window. We'll talk about Jamie Vardy replacement, right?
Yeah.
The club know what they're doing in terms of signings, but they waited a lot. They waited till the right moment for the right player to put in the transfer, and they did. We're just looking for the right player, and that's all I think it is. However, we're just gonna have to grin and bear it. We've come so in the last 3 years. I know we finished fifth. We're getting there, and the fact I get you. If we don't get Champions League football, it is a bit of a shame, and I think so too. But at the same time, we're moving in the right direction, and we did that with the Premier League. We went and won it, and we came straight back down the table. Now we're building to be more consistent in that part of the ground, and the owners are doing everything they can to get behind the club and the city to make sure that's possible. But these things don't happen overnight. Look at Arsenal. It's going to take ages for them to rebuild their squad. It's going to take 2 or 3 years minimum, and probably another manager also as well. So it's going to take time for these things to come in place. However, I get people's worries where it is frustrating not having the right winger for sure, because we would literally take anybody at the moment. But we're just looking for that right player and that right price. And I don't think we would spend 30 million on like a Berardi or a Madueke even, or I think somebody put in the comments as well, somebody else as well. But I just can't see it happening unless we get the right player at the right price. And I don't think there's really anybody coming through from the academy. So the only thing we could do is play like a 3-4-3 and have 2 cams. And that's the only way I can see it working. But that's where you can kind of have Mads on one side and Perez the other, or you can get maybe Dewsbury Hall the other side, or Dennis Pratt like we did against Wolves last year.
Yeah. Well, I think looking at our team wise, I just want to say the thing about Arsenal is I'm so happy. And I know a lot of people disagree with me here, and I'm going to lose subscribers saying this. The amount of times, the amount of Arsenal fans that have put us down as a club, like the amount of tweets I've seen saying, "Oh yeah, they're a small club. They're a small club." I just don't understand why Arsenal fans still talk when they're still like lower than us in the league, when they're 8th place. Because I still remember, and I'm not going to look down at them for that, getting their position, but just the way that Arsenal fans are and the way Arsenal are as a club, they're too cocky, way too cocky.
It's because they used to have the trophies and the top 4 and stuff to compete. Now that they don't, now you're seeing the real character. But they're so used to success now that they've come down miles. They've come down miles. I remember coming to like when it was like when we came up to the Premier League in like 2002, 2003, 2004, when I remember Arsenal coming out, I was like, okay, that's like these guys are like, it's kind of how we look at Man City now.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like these guys, if we could nick a draw, that would be a hell of a game. And that's how good Arsenal were at one point in time. But the drop off has been stupid. And look at you probably saw, you're on Twitter as well. You've probably seen all the Arsenal Madison stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
It just at one point really did annoy me. Like the conversations that you have with Arsenal fans is when you say Leicester are a better club, some of them will agree, but they just always say, "Oh yeah, we have the history." I mean, history from 20 years ago doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
I don't know, but obviously
you can't have like history without. It's what matters now.
Honestly,
do you know what I mean? A player's not going to come for the history, because if that's the case, why they're not going to Newcastle? Why they're not going to Leeds? Why they're not going to Nottingham Forest? Because it's not relevant now. So that's why history doesn't matter as much, if that makes sense.
Do you think? And I just think the way Arsenal are going, do you think they could finish in the bottom half of the table this season?
They could, because if I get this, if you look at, so you say we take the top 4, right, and then us, right. So there's 5 teams. Then you've got Aston Villa. They're going to feel Brighton on fire. I'll take Brighton out of it. I think I'll get my predictions, because I got Arsenal to finish 9th this season, but because there's 8 teams better than them, in my opinion, this season. See if I can find it, but I've got them to finish 9th or 8th or something, because I'm like, they're better. Like Everton, they could finish higher than Arsenal. Leeds could finish higher than Arsenal. Wolves, I know they've not won, but they look promising, and there's development that's going to be there. They could finish. I won't say Crystal Palace, but Tottenham could finish higher. West Ham could finish higher if they get knocked out of the Europa League. I think they could do business. Aston Villa. So that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they could finish 11th. So you're right. They could finish in the bottom half, because when we were in the sometimes it's confidence and momentum. And yes, they don't have European football, but if they can't get out of this rut, it's really hard to drag yourself up. Do you know what I mean? Especially with some of the egos, some of the players, because they've gone to Arsenal for the reason of, I'm big man kind of thing.
I think just a quick answer to this comment. I wouldn't take Ahmed Diallo. I think we don't want to help United as a team, because they're just going to take him back and we'll do better. Do you think Leicester are now top 6? I agree with that. I think there's obviously that debate with top 6, is it top 6 and big 6, but Arsenal aren't in there. Spurs debatably aren't in there either. Neil, why do you think Madueke wants to join Spurs?
It's his heart. It's his home club. That's where he came from. He's 19. He's still young enough to go. Yeah. So basically, the short answer, yeah, I can say that's it.
Shaqiri's a very good name. Leicester really
Yeah.
Leicester really could have pursued that. But I think for me as a Leicester fan, I think obviously just Arsenal wise, I think we really I think if you look at Arsenal's team, for example, it's so sad to read their kind of their kind of team lineup because you saw just their defense is just what is it? It's crazy. I know they're playing Cedric Suarez and who is it? Mari. I think it was anyways. I think remember the names.
And I've said that before that White was the wrong move. If
Yeah.
you get, for example, if White came to us and he's playing alongside Johnny Evans, get it. One man's going to teach him what to do. Like, you know, Sionchu. If Sionchu and Fofana, we've seen it, they don't work. Why? Because they're too similar, and also they're two very young players that need the coaching. And who they got? Tierney one side and Suarez the other. Like nobody's gonna coach that. That should be the manager's job. But on the pitch, nobody's gonna lead that. Defensive midfielder they haven't really got as well. So I can see the problem. But apparently Arsenal can't, or they're spending the money on the wrong player. And having Ramsdale for 27 million or 24 rising to 30, man, is it speaks for itself. I think everybody said what they need to say. But I think, yeah, Arsenal are in. This is kind of not what they deserve, but this is some fans. This is kind of how they. This is what the reality. Look, football don't lie. When you lose to Chelsea, and then the next game is Man City as well. So. You know what? Anything's possible, man. But they could slip down that table for sure.
I think my only thing about Arsenal is they're just I don't know the way it's kind of sad for the fans even, but I think it's a little bit calmer for them. But I just think Leicester wise, if we can go back onto Leicester's topic, do you reckon that we could poach the players off Arsenal easily? Because I think we could, a lot of them. I think obviously some of the players are more challenging. And we don't really need some of the players. But I've always thought, let's say we didn't get Ryan Bartran in, and let's say we didn't have Justin, would you take Tierney from them? Because there was talk. Yeah. I remember there was talk. There was actual talk, even when we weren't as high as we were. But we were talking about getting Tierney from Arsenal. We were interested in before we got Brendan Rodgers really worked well with him.
From Arsenal, from Celtic?
From Arsenal first. So from Celtic, there's obviously big talks. I just remember a few sources telling me that obviously Leicester were kind of talking to Arsenal about a potential deal, which was crazy. I was a little bit shocked, but it still probably could be a shock. But Tierney is, I think, the only player that I think is a good player. And I think,
yeah, I agree. I think he's a really, really promising talent, and he fits all the criteria of what we need. He's a young player, talented, coming into the Premier League. And he could have fit that mold, and I think he has shown his own levels, but I think he's done that himself, not through coaching. But I think he could have gone up levels if he was for us. I think the reason why we didn't get him is because of the injury record. He's a very injury-prone player, and I don't think Leicester go out and sign injury-prone players. They will avoid them at pretty much all cost. So, because it makes sense. I mean, you're going to spend all this money on a player that's going to be injured, then you're going to go rehabilitate them, come the back in. It's different with the James Justin and Harvey Barnes, where it's when a player knows they're going to get injured. You know, we've had that issue before. I don't think the club want to go anywhere near that again.
Let's go more into the right wing news, because I think a lot of people are going to be asking about that. Which right wing? Because I haven't really asked you this yet. Which right winger would you take realistically?
I don't know, man. I really wish I had an option, because I've had it all summer. I think Daniel James was the one, but I know realistically we weren't going to get him. Because again, as you were saying, that we strengthened Man United, and we're kind of competing for them for spaces. The same way that Arsenal didn't want to loan us Maitland-Niles. Joe Willock actually wouldn't have been a bad shout. I disagree with Baz on this on another channel, but that was more for banter. But I think he could have been a good player for us because of the talent that he's got. However, off the top of my head, you want somebody. You want a technical player that's going to take on somebody and get past them. Yeah. And something different to see for Harvey Barnes, somebody like a left-footed player. Off the top of my head, I can't really name you any. Like, obviously, probably no money aside, just take Riyad Mahrez back, because you know exactly what it does. However, I think he doesn't track back enough. I think that's the reason why Harvey Barnes getting in the team. But I think Albrighton could do a really good job on that right-hand side, but he can't. He's not the dude that will go, right, he's going to win as a match. In the same way that if Harvey Barnes got the match, go, okay, I feel good about this now. I feel like we can take this 2-1 into a 2-2 or potentially 3-2 as well. So I'm not sure, because it's just looking at the players we're linked with. And the thing is, man, the transfer window is running out. I think we've got like how many days left? I think we've only got like 9 days left. And I can't really see us doing anything.
I'm starting to think that we won't send a right winger, to be honest.
No, I don't think so.
Which is a problem. But obviously Berardi was a good shout. I always had my picture was, I so many fans wanted Leon Bailey at the club. He fits the mold so well. He's so similar to Barnes on the left wing. We needed another similar player, and then just get a striker in, which of course we got with Daka and Iheanacho. Obviously Vardy is a good shout. I don't know about starting always now, but I think, of course, do you think for West Ham, going to this West Ham game, do you think not having the right winger with Perez? Because Perez is one of those players that either has a really good game or really bad game, and he has more really bad games than good games, really.
I think what it is, I think he gets a lot of stick unnecessarily. I think what he does, for example, nobody says anything about him defending that shot when we won the FA Cup. Then that ball goes to Thomas, then Thomas gives it through. But that's where he's actually good at pressing and defending going backwards. And Brendan Rodgers wants everybody to attack and defend. Jamie Vardy, even if you watch the Wolves game, was tracking back into the box to try and defend. So if he's doing it, everybody has to do it. And Perez, the problem is when, you know, Roddy, when you were watching the preseason against Man City, when you know, he had that shot come into him, he's in a good position. He just needs to sort his feet out and put that ball in the back of the net. That's where he needs to improve. I think when everybody's on 100%, he's on 80, and it stands out because everybody is just playing amazing football. So I don't think he's a bad player at all, but at the same time, it's just getting that extra bit out of him, which I don't know if he can do. But at the moment, he's probably our best option, but he doesn't play as an out-and-out winger. But when you've got Ricardo on that right-hand side to cover, then they push back into a back three with, like, say, Bertrand or the left, or Thomas pushing back into that three. You can get away with it because, again, as you saw, the link-up play between Perez and Ricardo and Pereira and Perez giving you that ball around the corner, I think could work. And if you watch, Perez did create the space for that goal. He was the player. Go, yeah, give me the ball, and then Pereira created that space. So he's one of the players that people don't like because when he's on the ball, he can't get past the player. That's the reason why we like Harvey Barnes. But the work he does off the ball is the reason why he's in the squad. He's not the solution, though. We're not saying that. I'm not saying that. We don't need anybody else. We do need a right winger. But at the moment, with Ricardo coming back to full fitness, we can get away with it, and that's good enough for now because there isn't really anybody else.
My personal thing is, with Perez is, I think if the fans started to appreciate him more, of course it's harder to do. We saw, I think, one excellent player to look at is Iheanacho, because the amount of hate he got at one period, but then when fans were gone, and he kind of saw a little bit more of the kind of spotlight. Obviously, Rodgers was backing him a bit more. He was getting more game time. He was playing so well, and that consistent, and now obviously the fans back him saying, "Oh yeah, we were like Nacho." I think there's so many fans who need to apologize, and I personally would, because the amount of times that I would say, "Oh yeah, let's get rid of Nacho." I think with that Roma link as well, Roma trying to open negotiations for Nacho. I think maybe if he was at that same consistency, we would have lost a lot of talent in Nacho. Of course,
I think that's a smokescreen. So, for example, I'll give you a couple of examples about Nacho. I think obviously he signed a new contract, so he's not going to sign a new contract and then get rid of that release clause from Man City if he's not going to stay. I think two as well. Clubs do this all the time. It's a smokescreen. So I'll give you two examples. One from our own camp, Mark Albrighton, linked to Burnley, got a 3-year contract. He gets a pay grade. He stays at the club for 2 more years. Happy days. James Ward-Prowse, linked with Aston Villa, linked with us. Again, came out of nowhere. There was no way we're getting him because we don't need a midfielder in that position. Comes to the club, gets his 5-year contract. Cool. I think that's what it was. And then Roma were going, okay, if we can't get you, Tammy Abraham, we'll go and get somebody else. And to kind of scare, it's agents putting out stuff or clubs going to sources going, yeah, we're interested in Nacho. That's all it was. I don't think it was anything serious because it doesn't make any sense for him to leave, to be honest. Because where else is he going to go? And he doesn't work well in a one. He has to play in a two, and he knows Jamie Vardy. And now brought in Daka. I think he's going to be good this season. I can't see him scoring more than 15 goals though.
Daka,
It's Iheanacho.
Oh, Nacho.
I think get double figures, hopefully.
My main thing is, and I think I just don't see Leicester again playing Nacho that much. I just think the way Brendan Vardy is so much loved, which he should be. I mean, he's taken us to a lot of different places. But I just think with the way we're going, I think Brendan Rodgers just wants to use Vardy a bit more, and I think that's where the lack will be. Of course, got to bring on Nacho to coming to the end. But I would prefer this. I would prefer Nacho playing a little bit longer, Daka maybe playing a little bit longer, and then have Vardy come in as a sub because he really kind of roars it up. Like when players see Vardy coming on, they're gonna be, oh no, we're all tired out. And then you got Vardy coming on. But I think, would you think the whole problem with the right wing is going to cost us Champions League?
This is what Ant thinks on our channel. He thinks if we don't get a right winger, we're going to get not going to get top four. I can see his point, and I don't disagree. But I'm like, okay, we'll try and figure a way around it. With Perez in that right, we've got Marco Brighton again. He's still at the club, so the club will look at addressing that. Maybe again, there's always January. I know January is not the best window, but we can try and find somebody in January potentially. So we'll have to see, man. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but overall, I think it's a concern, but it's not the end of the world because we've got players in different positions, and also if we play a 3-4-3, you know, like Chelsea did when they won the league, they had I think they had not Oscar, I can't remember who they had on the right. They had Eden Hazard, who's not a winger, but they had him and somebody else, two very similar players. I think they had Pedro on that right, who's not like a out and out winger, playing like inverted, and we could do that. So there is options round it, but Brendan Rodgers has come out, I think, publicly and said we are looking at players, emphasis on the S. So he's obviously pushing the club, going, look, if you want Champions League, cool, we've got to get some more players in. So it's not like the club going, we've got enough squad now. No, it's an issue that we've got to work on and got to move forward. And there isn't really anybody coming through in the academy. I mean, Soa, I think will get a link to the Championship. I think he'll need some loan time in the Championship. So we'll have to see, I think. So, but it is a concern. But considering the position we were in last year, we got to remember, because coming into last season, I don't know about you, but I wasn't feeling confident at all. Like, I think we'll get mid-table finish because just try and stick it together and have a go next year. And we still managed to get an FA Cup and a fifth place finish, which is still incredible.
Yeah, I really don't think that. Like I said this to a lot of Arsenal fans. I really do think, because obviously one of my good mates is obviously an Arsenal fan. He's HA90. He's on, of course. But I just think the thing that we are with and the way Brendan Rodgers works, I really see us getting at least Europa League or we've got to get another trophy. There's going to be another trophy, and I just don't see Brendan Rodgers making that fault of just finishing maybe fifth again without anything. I don't see him taking a step back because he is the top manager. I think you start
everywhere else is strength though. Yeah. Everywhere else, when everybody's fit, is strength. Right, wing backs got it. We've got wing backs, we've got central defense. I know we haven't at the moment because we've got 2 injuries, but when Johnny Evans hopefully comes back, then we're all right in that position. Daniel Martin could fill in for Europa League as well. Strikers, we've got 3 midfielders. You've mentioned it before, so it's just that right wing position. But it's not. I know what you mean though. So, but at the same time, every other position is pretty much strong. Keepers, 2 international keepers, both great. I mean, if Cassius Michael got an injury, I would be pissed. But Danny Ward, I've got confidence in, especially after his Euros, especially after I think he played 3 games for us, 4 games for us, and he's played nothing at all.
Do you think? I don't know. I'm not too scared with the right wing, just because I think a lot of people are forgetting that we didn't have a right wing. We still played very well. We do have a right wing, but we didn't have that good, kind of quality right wing last season. We didn't play badly at all. I mean, a lot of people are going to say, and I know we spent 150 days in the top 4, I think it was. But I get we kind of think. I really don't see us as bottling it. I really disagree with this word of Leicester bottling. Champions League, because if I don't know. I just think with the FA Cup win, it just kind of cancels it out. I don't know what you think about that.
And if we played the FA Cup at the end of the season, I think we get top 4. I don't think we lose to Newcastle. I don't think we lose 4-2 because the team are like, I think the minds of the young players have got distracted by a final. And they've never been, I think a lot of them, apart from Johnny Evans, who actually went off injured, but I don't think a lot of them have been in that position before. So they took their eye off the ball. And again, Newcastle deserved to win. They were better. Tottenham deserved to win. They were a better team. But if we get a couple of results straightened out, we got 5th, yes, but we got it in such a way, and people forget about how many injuries we got because they were too busy crying over Liverpool. And this is one thing: Liverpool fans and Man City fans have to realize that their managers are world class, but they're crybabies. I'm sorry. The way that Pep handled his loss to Tottenham was pathetic. The way that he handled when we beat them 5-2, he was complaining at us, going, "If they play this way 90% of the time, we won't get beat. You just got beat 5-2, man. Just take your L and move on." That's what you do, but they can't. Do you know what I mean? And all the excuses for Klopp came flooding out, and the media soaked it up. But Brendan Rodgers goes, "It is what it is. We get on with it." Has he complained about Fofana being injured? He goes, "No." He goes, "It is unfortunate. He's such a talented boy, but we move." And I love that mentality from him, where he goes, "Well, let's just have a go." I think it's all things considered. Shout out to Bronze Plumber. I appreciate it, man. I've seen your comments on our channel as well. But yeah, I think we have got a stronger squad than last year. It's just that right wing position, and I agree with you. With a year, you think about Soyuncu's got a year more experience. Didi's got a year more experience. Tielemans got a year more experience. I'm not saying that Tielemans is going to push up levels from where he was 2 years ago to where he was last year, but Southern players could do that with the right training ground, with the right players. So with certain players fit again, anything's possible, and I think we can get top 4, but it's who misses out. And I think I prefer to like the 1-0 result against Wolves was the perfect thing. We'll let Man United have the 5-1. We'll let 5-2. We'll let other people take the spotlight, and we'll just go about doing our business and getting the 3 points, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, I think the way we do it is we like to keep it quiet. I mean, everyone looks at Leicester's team. Oh yeah, they didn't get top 5. Oh yeah, they're gonna drop out of it soon. And I know I've got year 11s coming on. Of course, there's gonna be more people saying, you know how school kids are with obviously school, with football and everything. Mm-hmm. And the amount of people who told me that, the amount of people who said, "Oh yeah, you guys will drop out." We did drop out of top 4, but we didn't drop out of top 6. I mean, people forget that, and I think a lot of people are getting West Ham did it as well. It shows how different they are. Tottenham are out, Arsenal are out. I mean, Tottenham, they've got 2 wins to start off with, playing against the Man City side, which weren't playing incredibly, and they played. I don't know who they just played. I have no clue who Spurs played, but I just think going into this one, if we play West Ham in a way that I know we just have those kind of key players missing. Evans is the big one. I just Evans is so slept on by everyone else. I think I know you kind of mentioned it. I think in one of your previews, I joined you for a bit, and you said obviously there is that thing about Dawson playing with Evans. And I just think Vardy could get a gap. There might be a gap. I don't know. I just think it's going to be the most challenging game so far that we've had out of, was it Man City?
It's a statement game. Yeah. This one is a statement game, in my opinion. Like, we lost 3-0, 3-1, or I can't remember, 3-1 or 3-0, and then we won, and then we lost 3-2. Now it's time to make amends. Do you know what I mean? Like, just in the same way that Chelsea, we beat them in the FA Cup final. Like, right, we're going to show you and beat you in the Premier League. And they did. And they deserved to win. But we were just like, we got carried away with the celebrations and everything. And that's fine. But we need to install that mentality of, if it's not, this isn't good enough. We don't lose 3-0 to a team. We have to, especially like a West Ham. But they know that, and they're going to play against us. So part of it is trying to neutralize them, and having players back, like I think Ricardo is going to be a major thing. Having players back like Harvey Barnes is going to be a major thing as well. So, you know, it's going to be a tough game, though. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be a tough game. But you're right. I'm looking forward to it. And I believe the team can do something. Even if it's a draw, it's a step in the right direction, in my opinion.
I mean, I think the good thing about Leicester and West Ham is, and I like being a family-run club. I like having Leicester as the club, because if you look at these owners in Arsenal, United, all of these clubs, they really care about the fans, really.
No.
Like when have you seen them got free stuff? Because I know they're getting free beers, I think, for Wolves. My dad got a bit confused with how to get the beer, but I just think West Ham is really good. West Ham is a really good game for Leicester, much rather place. But yeah, I know. I agree. I think West
Yeah.
Ham, they're levels. Uh, I think the way us are going, Leicester and West Ham, I think we don't have to go into these bigger teams like Spurs, like Liverpool, like United, being cocky, because they're always going to be cocky. Like you saw United with the Saints. There's so many United fans that are so cocky about this game, and I got like a very very good mate who's a Saints fan, and he was looking into it. He was just enjoying the game. He was all about enjoying it. What did he do? What did they do? They got a draw out of it. Well, actually, I think it's a great draw.
And look at all the hype they had in the first game
Yeah.
against we're going to win. I think people in the first game were just gassed for football to be back, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Let's be real. When people are Arsenal losing to Brentford, yeah, that's cool. But people are just gassed for football. I mean, the summer seasons are so long, so to a certain extent, I think it's going to be a hard game, West Ham, and the players they have in that first team, and I'll share the link as well. But it's going to be a tough game to. Yes, I've just put the team up there. That team, all over the pitch, is a bit slept. Like Souček, I know people like Kufal and Fornals. We had a West Ham fan on from West Ham Network. They were talking about this, and it was like, yeah, this is a strong team. And to be fair, it matches up like Souček and Rice versus Ndidi and Ndidi and Tillemans is going to be a big battle. Ogbonna, and the thing is, if you stick Jamie Vardy on Dawson, I think you're going to have a good time. However, you're gonna have to get the service into him because it'll be cut out from the midfield. I think one play we've got to look out for is Maddison, because they're so strong. You're gonna have Rice and Souček just going right. We're gonna tear you guys down. And you know Perez, and this is one thing with Perez and Maddison. If they get physically attacked, as in like they get chopped out the ball a lot, they won't go for the ball as much as possible. And I think that could be an issue for us because that will cut off the supply to Jamie Vardy for sure.
I mean, obviously, the Ogbonna, he had an excellent game against us. Really, really good man of the match performance. I think if obviously you're saying Dawson, he's got a lot of experience, but he's a player who's not as quick. Ogbonna, I just think his physicality wise, he's always going to be winning. 110%. Ogbonna is one of the most slept on defenders. Kufal, Cresswell, I think that's where we're going to have problems because there's been so many attacks, and I'll just take that off screen. There's been so many attacks with the gaps with the fullbacks as well that we've seen. I think what was it, Burnley games, Aston Villa games, we all saw it with those kind of fullbacks being used. And if you've got two times of the same ones, you got Kufal and Cresswell, they're so similar. Cresswell scoring goals in the Newcastle game, for example. They've done it so well with the attacking wise, and I think David Moyes, he's brought it up like Leicester, of course. But we're unfortunate without James Justin. We're unfortunate we're out with players like Castagna should be back for this one.
He is back, yeah. He's confirmed to be back. But it's going to be a hard task to throw him in the deep end for the first game of the season.
Do you see him starting? I don't see him starting. Yeah. I don't think Rodgers will risk it against West Ham. No, I think. Do you think Luke? I just thought Luke Thomas's last two performances have been amazing.
Yeah, honestly, me too.
He reminds me so much of Ben Chilwell. The way he plays and stuff. I think defensively he's better. Defensively,
I think so too. Yeah,
just attacking maybe just a little bit off, but I just think Luke Thomas, the type of player, and I know I think one performance that he kind of got looked out for being a bad player was against Arsenal. Nicola Pepe, obviously, kind of it's a tough matchup, but I just think. Do you think Luke Thomas deserves to play with the performance he's had?
He's our best left wing. He's the best left back at the moment, and I think he's a real slept-on player. I think some people, the fact that he can come in for Ryan Bertrand, and after I don't know when Ryan got confirmed like positive for corona, but it was after it was. So I think the press conference was Thursday and the match was Saturday. So somewhere between Friday or Saturday, he would have known, right, you're in the team, and he had a day to prepare. And he did I agree with you. He is like Ben Chilwell, but what I like about it is that defensively is solid, and he's got the ability to pick his runs. And I think somebody like Ryan Bertrand will really help develop his game. But something that I think I've listened to interviews with Kasper Schmeichel and Wes Morgan and Jamie Vardy and stuff, and they've gone, this dude doesn't see fear. He doesn't fear anybody. So when you've got him and Barnes playing together, I think we saw in the Europa League, their link up is amazing. So that can only get stronger over time. And you bring in someone like Dewsbury Hall, having them three, especially from Leicester on that left-hand side, they were just the ball just covered because they played with each other for so many years as well. And yeah, Gabe makes a good point. Shout out to Gabe as well. It is a good point, and especially I don't know if you've been to the West Ham game away. Have you been to the ground in the new? Okay, so I've been to it a couple of times, and their crowd. So you know the poll that recently we had 94%, 95.4% or 94.5%, right? West Ham was 27. They still don't like their owners. So if you can get a goal in the first 10 minutes, the crowd turns. So if you do that, it makes life very, very easy for us, to the point where I remember Leicester fans just shushing the West Ham fans. However, once they get going, it's honestly such a, personally, anecdotally, their crowd has hurt my ears. Like they've been so, you go and you hear like your ears go, like there was that much noise in the ground. It's mental. So the crowd's going to play a massive part. And also, as Gabe, kind of on Gabe's point as well, whoever scores first is important, but having that advantage, home form, they're solid as well. Last year they were completely solid. We have a great away form. They had a good home. They had a great home form. So it's going to be hard to try and figure out who's best for that. However, yeah, man, it's going to be a tough game. But I think the crowd will be there and will be up for it. We just have to get a goal in the first 10, 15 minutes just to silence everything. And it makes it really hard to play against when you're 2-0 down, especially in the first half. But I don't know. Last year, did we come out on? Sorry, you going to say something?
No, go on.
I was going to say that before we always come out better in second half, apart from the Wolves game. Wolves game were better.
That was weird.
Yeah,
I thought that was so weird.
Yeah. So I think going forward, potentially that will be something that we've got to sort out. But today, hopefully in the first half, we can just sort it out. Then maybe bring Vestergaard on or Daniel Amati and could play three at the back, and then try and take the game off their hands. Give them the ball and try and let them counter us.
I just think my only thing about scoring first is I would prefer, if West Ham are going to score, I would prefer for them to score first. Just because I don't think West Ham are one of those teams like Man City, like Liverpool, who get cocky with the ball. I really don't think that. I think West Ham, they did it against Newcastle. We saw they were, 1-0 down. They got straight back in. They got straight back into it. And I think that's what a lot of people are forgetting. I just think if West Ham are going to score, I think the way we played before against West Ham, you saw obviously the one, I think, was it London Stadium? The most recent one. Ian Archer, he came back. He came back. He caused the comeback. I think that's the only thing that West Ham do kind of have in fault is the comebacks. I think Leicester have done it so well in the past few years with the comebacks. You've seen it. I mean, I've seen other fans, and then obviously I don't know if like Everton, for example, we were 1-0 down and we just came back and nearer to the end of the half, which is crazy. That was a crazy game to be at. I just think we have that. Do you like, what was it? The Leicester's slogan. What is Leicester's slogan?
Foxes never quit.
Yeah, Foxes never quit. I think that is so pushed into the players so much and so much into the fans that in those last 10 minutes we'll try so hard, honestly. Because I don't know, let's say Chelsea, for example, we were 1-0 down in the it wasn't this FA Cup final. It was the FA Cup before that with Frank Lampard. And I personally thought Leicester would score. Just because the way we are and everything. But I just think West Ham, of course, they're not going to get cocky at all.
They're not ego. Yeah. West Ham have a philosophy, like I was speaking to a West Ham fan, and they're like, we've got a philosophy, we stick to it. We know what we're doing with it, and that's why they're successful. They've got something, and it's worked out, and they've got like us. They've got a format that works. They're bringing in players not from young, but they're playing in like Souček and Kufal from the Prague, and they go from Slavia Prague, and go right. We found a kind of player that you can play. We know you can work in Leicester, so if you can work in West Ham, let's go. And it works for them. And we found the same, but we have a philosophy around that and a manager around that. So it's going to be tough. I would 100% take a draw tomorrow, and I'd be more than happy with it, because conceding 3 is not good twice in a row. And also, it's a surprise to West Ham fans. That first game, they won 3-0. They were expecting us. Even the West Ham fans were expecting to lose that game. So partly we didn't turn up, and partly because they played us off the park. So fair enough.
I just think, to add on to your point before about the fans as well, I think fans as well. I hate always, like, I know a lot of people disagree with me here. You see fans like United, Arsenal, all of them. There's so many fake fans in the thing. They kind of tourists to see it. I think when you go to a kind of like obviously with Liverpool, so many people have told me that it kind of quietens down after they sing "You'll Never Walk Alone" because everyone knows the song. So you could just come in as I could come in as a Leicester fan and just start singing it just because it's such a noble song. But there's so many fake fans within the pitch, and you'd never within the stadium. You never see it with Leicester, really. Maybe you didn't really see anyone coming in as a
You can't
tourist.
afford to. You can't
Yeah,
afford to because well, because if you didn't follow football, you wouldn't support Leicester
yeah,
because you'd support a Man United because you're not going to support a team that doesn't win things, which is why I find crazy on our channel that people will follow Leicester even from the Championship and everything.
yeah.
Like
I know.
Alex from our side has followed them since 2009. Like when we were crap, when we were so crap, man. And I've followed about the same time. So
No, because
yeah, it's just mental.
I still remember the time when my mum said, what is it? We nearly got through the championship, but I still remember when she was telling me about it, and I was so baffled as like a little, was it like a 6-year-old maybe that Leicester was even a team. I don't know. I just never heard of it. But yeah,
Question for you, like from your experience watching, do you watch much of England?
yeah, but we tend to watch a lot of Portugal as well
Okay,
because
okay.
we're
So from
Romans, aren't we? Yeah,
okay, fair enough. No
yeah.
worries. So
But yeah, my dad, me and my dad do support England. We do support
so
England.
do you remember like watching us when we didn't qualify for the Euros? I don't know if
Yeah,
you remember that. So do you remember that kind of team and that kind of player? But if you're growing up and you're 10, all you've seen is England reach a semi-final of the World Cup and a final of the Euros. And it's the same thing with us. I always use that comparison because I'm like, if you
yeah,
didn't see us through crap, you expect us just to do well now. And it comes with a certain
yeah.
mentality. When you were supporting Leicester from as long as you've supported them, as long as I've supported them, it makes a difference. It makes it sweeter once you know the journey and the hardship it's gone through to get to this stage right now.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's true. Like, wait, let me just quickly sort.
It's all good. I'll try and take over. But yeah, I don't know if you guys in the comments have the same thing, but it's one of those things where it's hard at the moment but anybody that's watching from an
Yeah,
international perspective, I know Gabe is. So the guy you got a comment on now, I've been talking with him kind of on the DMs and stuff. The dude's from
yeah,
Hong Kong. He was over in I don't know if he minds you telling this, but he's from Hong Kong. He's over in Seattle and he's just supported Leicester City ever since. But he's
no,
got a
that's
big connection to the club and he's just mental. You hear of all these stories. So shout out to Gabe, man. I appreciate you.
obviously, yeah. I mean, fans wise, it's going to change everything this game. But before I end the stream, obviously, big thank you for coming on. Your channel. I think it's just mental how you went to Don Robbie's thing. You obviously got into you've got so many connections now with these bigger YouTubers, but that's just crazy. You deserve it, man. You deserve it.
I appreciate it.
Obviously, a big shout out to you. I'll put a link in the description to your channel, but I don't think you necessarily need it. But yeah, I will shout you out on everything. Yes. But yeah, obviously, can I get a prediction?
2-2.
Or 2-2?
I say 2-2.
Sounds good.
I think a draw is a draw. A 2-2. I can't see either team with the squad that we've got, with the defensive we've got, and with their defense. I think you said Ogbonna's a good player, but I still think you put Jamie Vardy in there, who's going to get a goal, and I think Harvey Barnes is going to be slept on again, but they'll have to find a way around him because he scored against. I think he scored. It was slightly offside. So yeah, at the end of the day, I think that's so 2-2, and I think Bronze Plumber has put a good point. As well about like the Martin O'Neill days, and that's what I heard growing up. I don't say with you, but like I don't know if the Martin O'Neill days was the big days where everybody goes, "Oh, I remember Leicester City back in the day when you were Martin O'Neill." Now it's like no, we've got a whole new era, so it's absolutely mental in my opinion because that was what was mentioned back in the day. Martin O'Neill days. Remember Martin O'Neill? Remember Emil Heskey? Remember Muzzy? Is it? Because this was the golden generation. Now we're on a diamond generation because the golden generation now was the team that won the league, and now we're past that because we've got a better squad than that. So it's even more mental.
And my only thing is like I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, my dad he's obviously a Leicester fan now, but he's obviously born in Kenya, went to London, stuff like that. My mum obviously from Leicester. Not She had two brothers. They obviously one supported Leicester. I kind of was brought up kind of being a Leicester fan, knowing from that. I know like Muzzy is it. I've always heard of. Always, I know he was a very, very good kind of. I think he was a midfielder. I don't know, Turkish midfielder,
Don't
something
worry,
like that.
man.
But
It wasn't your era, and it wasn't
yeah,
my era either. But I just heard about it because I was like 8 at the time. So it was like, and again, I wasn't. My family aren't even football. You know, it's like in Indian families. My
yeah.
family went to cricket. And I want to go watch football for. But my friends have watched it and they support Leicester. I was like, okay, cool. And I went down to the ground and I loved it. So that was my sport of choice.
I just think I hate bringing it back. I love actually no one thing. I love bringing it back to the games I went to. I think one of my first games was that 3-2 win for Aston Villa when we were in the
Nice.
Premier League. And I still remember it so well. But the atmosphere there really made me really enjoy Leicester City because I know, and I still have it in the back of my mind. You've got to be careful as a Brown kind of guy going to these games. But I just think that the fans have done it so well. The British fans and stuff. I think obviously there's still racism, but with Leicester City, there's so much diversity now. Being obviously season ticket holder, having that privilege now, obviously I can look on to those guys next to me. They don't have a problem with me at all, which is always nice to see, and it is always a relief because I've never had a problem going to the games. I think anyone really scared about going to the games, I know a lot of people have in that misconception with the Brown kind of parents. They still think there is racism, obviously. With the fans.
There is always going to be a bit, but it's less than it's ever been.
Yeah.
And also, your parents growing up in a generation where there was a problem. And without sounding too shameless, I did a documentary. It's actually on Amazon Prime with Robbie, and that's how we kind of got in touch with a couple of fans from Leicester. And they go round, and so Robbie came round, like he went to Wolves, went to Leicester.
What's the documentary called?
Robbie Lyle. I can't remember the name. But if you type in Robbie Lyle on Amazon Prime, you'll be able to find it. So I'm at about 34 minutes. Again, I'm not trying to plug myself too much, but we did a documentary there. I'm in it for like 30 seconds or something. But yeah, their experience is complete. The Chelsea fan, oh mate, I won't even spoil it, but he had some story. Man was like crying on camera because it was that bad. So they grew up in an era where that was the norm. And now it's come so far the other way. There still is an issue, but it's not as bad as it once was. So they think it's this, like in the same way when your parents left Kenya, they think it's the same as when it left, but it's not. It's changed. But if you don't go to it, you don't see how it's changed. Or like you don't see your family member for a while and you go, Jesus Christ, you shut up. Or Jesus Christ, you've changed. But it's because in your head, it's always the same since the last time you saw them or last time you went. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just a massive relief now. Because obviously obviously born in Leicester is very diverse in a sense. I know it's like 40% Indian or something like that. But I just think we do get lucky, and it's crazy how, I don't know, Chelsea fans, there's so much racism still in Chelsea as well as a club. And I never understood it just because there's so many black players that kind of carry
like
it.
People in London.
Yeah, like I mean Lukaku is one, Kante, all of these very, very good players. I don't know, but obviously I love this chat, man, but I'm gonna need to go very, very soon because my parents are getting a bit annoyed. But I will see you soon, man. Big shout out to this channel. Be sure to subscribe to Beyond the 90 LCFC. I'd love to see you to have like your own channel, man. I can't lie.
It's all good, man. I'll tell you. Oh yeah, but trust me, it's pretty much it's our channel together, and that's the way I like it. I don't really like doing content on my own. So but I appreciate the compliment. And yeah, anytime. I know it was a random one. I saw it. I was like, well, let's see what happens. But no, I appreciate you having me on. I know it was a random one. It's the first time we're meeting, but yeah, it's good to meet you, man.
Yeah, of course, man. I'll see you soon, man. I see you. Cheers. Obviously, everyone viewing, big shout out to you guys. I think you got me some views as well. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching today's video. Like, subscribe, comment down below. And yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Bye.